Hey everybody, what's up? It's your boy Jake here. And today, there are some things I've seen on the internet, and I thought it would be a great idea to talk about them in a video, except, instead of like making fun of it or anything, I might as well like play it straight and tell you about some crazy things I've seen on the internet. So, long story short, there's lots of toxicity and negativity on the internet. Not in the way you might hear from a journalist, of course, but in a different manner. Specifically, behavior that enables or encourages your own self-destruction, especially at a young age. And I see lots of this online. And today I'm going to be talking about some of the kinds of people that enable this. So, without further interruption, let's talk about it and drink some soda. So, first things first, those kinds of people. There's multiple kinds of people out there who can help, basically they don't help you at all, if you get what I'm saying. They essentially ruin your life without you even knowing it. And there's several kinds. So, first let's talk about the enablers, okay? There's lots of people out there who just sit back and do nothing when you're getting yourself into some deep shit, essentially. I mean, many of them, not all of them have bad intentions as much as it is they're very non-confrontational. I mean, lots of people are these days. And it's easy to see why people online are non-confrontational. There's not a lot of people out there who will actually call you out on your bad behavior or when you're getting yourself into deep shit. Lots of people won't do that. Instead they'll enable it. And the most prominent form of this is when they just stay silent. And it's easy to see why they stay silent because, like I said, non-confrontational. Nowadays, you go on the internet, and half the time, it'll blow up in your face if you try to help people. So eventually, you wind up in this black-pilled, I'm not going to help anybody, why bother mental state. And that's what happens, because, to be fair, there are a bunch of people you can't help on the internet. You can try to help them so many times. The thing with trying to help people out, and this is why it's a problem, the thing is, half the time it'll blow up in your face. Either two things will happen. Either the person you tried helping actually won't take your advice, or they'll say, I've improved, but they won't take your advice. Or they will, sometimes they won't just dig themselves into a deeper hole. They will actually drag you through the mud. And if there's one thing people online are very scared of, it's the idea of being canceled and having your reputation dragged through the mud based on something that never happened. Because everybody loves to do that shit nowadays. And not only that, but a lot of times it won't even be on anything with any basis in truth. It'll be on them fabricating things to take you out. I actually had somebody tell me that they've had several people in different industries tell them, don't ever be in the room with a woman alone because of the whole Me Too thing. And, this is kind of public knowledge because, what's his name? ESR, he's kind of a crazy dude, but he actually had a post on his blog about warning people about this. So it's common knowledge at this point. But I had somebody tell me that there are lots of people out there trying to get you canceled and get your life ruined. And so there are a lot of people who don't really want to deal with that shit. And so they decide, maybe it's better if I stay silent or just walk away from the problem. And so you get that whole mindset, and people are afraid to call other people out. And I've actually seen this happen in a Discord group once. Somebody was going on about how college was hell, and or how they couldn't pay for it, and something about college. And I just remember saying, have you tried trade school? They flipped the fuck out, and I think the moderator told me to shut the fuck up. So that's what happens, is you get that sort of Wings of Redemption style, ban anyone who gives me advice style toxicity. And quite frankly, it's pretty crazy because, you know, there's a part of you that wants to help them, but at a certain point, you gotta know, when you basically have to know when it's not a good idea to help somebody, if you get what I'm saying. So this gets us to part 2 of this whole situation, which is basically, there's even worse people out there than just enablers, or worse enablers. I'm talking about the people who only just act like emacs therapists. All they ever do is tell you one of two things. Either you're valid, ooh, or they just give you RP hugs, or just canned advice. I mean, might as well just talk to the emacs therapist in that point, because they're not even giving you advice on what you should do, what you should try, how you might get yourself out of the hole you're in. No, they don't give you that. They just say hugs, ooh, or love bombing. That's the term for it, love bombing. Or they'll just try to tell you you're valid no matter what everybody says. But they don't tell you how you can be more well-liked, or what you can do to get yourself out of this hole. They'll just tell you everything's fine. And it's not, because essentially you're waging a war on the truth, on facts, on the reality of your situation. You're waging a war on it. And what that means is you're not really taking care of it. You're not doing that. You're just kicking the can down the road until you're 25 and you're jobless and you've got no driver's license. Why? Because you kicked the can down the road too many times and you decided, I'll buy a Nintendo video game instead. And I'll have these people online enable me. And the next thing you know, boom. You've been enabled too many times by these people. And yeah, you're in a bad situation and you're not getting out because of these people. It's crazy, isn't it? What gets worse than even the enablers, though, is the fact that, first of all, enablers, they'll throw you under the bus when stuff gets bad, period. They will throw you under the stuff when things really, really get bad, like when you do something that pisses them off, or you kind of lose friends, or you lose so-and-so. They won't be of much help, or at worst, they'll throw you out, kick you out of their group, cut you off, like a lot of those people will. They'll show their true nature to you, their true colors, if you get what I'm saying. They'll show their true colors, which is not nice. And then this leads us to our third thing, which is the overly political, cultist, true believers. Now, these people are the worst out of these enablers and people who encourage this behavior. Why? Because they're not really doing it out of a delusional, I'm trying to help mindset. No, their intentions are clearly to brainwash you. They want you in their group. They want you to be a true believer of whatever their thing is. And they're the recruiters. They're the recruiters into this group, okay? And that's really what these people want to do, is they want to get you into their group. So they do this by being your friend and trying to, be friends with somebody who in particular is very vulnerable to manipulation. And this is where the whole Discord groomer stereotype comes in, is because a lot of these people tend to target teenagers who are broken. Because there's a lot of broken teenagers out there with parents who just didn't give a shit, or who just let the computer raise their kids. And they got trashy friends in real life, and basically their parents are lazy. They need a parent they need a parent figure who can actually help them. And this is where people fall into crazy shit on the internet, is because their parents clearly didn't do the job. So this means that these people just sit on the internet bitching about their biological or foster parents and ending up with a bunch of crazy people just like they are. And there's a reason they call it grooming, especially when you get into the whole chosen family nonsense, is because some of these people legitimately decide, I'm going to move out of my biological family's house to be with a bunch of people I met online. And when you're meeting people online, it's literally a game of roll the dice. How crazy are these people going to be? They might be normal, but there's like a 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 chance they're going to be crazy. Because they're in a similar situation to you. And they decide to embrace it instead of trying to get out of it. So that's the thing. That's the thing with those people. They're literally going to be in the same situation as you, but maybe worse. And so what happens is you get involved with these groups, and they get you in, and they try to make you think just like them. And the programming really gets bad when you get the people who are like, if this or that happens, if this person wins the election, if your parents don't approve of it, then you are literally going to be so dead. You're going to be toast. It threatens your literal existence. And so you get that kind of mentality from internet groups where it's about defy your parents, regardless of what your parents are actually like, even if they've been supportive to you all your life. It's always defy your parents and move out with somebody, or at least be with people online who you don't even talk to in real life. And maybe one day you will have a perfect life or something. But it never works that way. It falls apart. Stuff happens. And then you're in deeper shit than what you just got out of. And especially when you're friends with these people online. Because, let me tell you, you get really bad examples of these people being just like cult leaders. Where, if you do something I don't like on the internet, I'm going to block you, unfriend you, kick you from my group. And it's controlling cult behavior. Where it's basically... And especially if you're part of like a sexual minority group, then they really try to control you by saying you can't be X if you are Y. You can't be trans and support Trump, for example. That's a good one. And you get people like that out there who will just manipulate the shit out of you into thinking whatever they want. So that's what happens, is they manipulate you and get you thinking this and that. And the second you disagree with them on some things, they cut you off and throw you under the bus because they're the abuser in this relationship. They're the person in control. They're the dominant one, and they kind of want to use you as whatever they want. And then once you get out of the way of those people, they'll move on to trying to find the next victim, the next new friend, for their very toxic friend circle. And how toxic can these people be? Well, I've started to sound incoherent here, so I'm just going to get this back on track by telling you a story about somebody who got sucked into one of these groups. Now, this was a guy in the retro tech scene, kind of. More so the Microsoft Windows branch of it, okay? So, like, the people into, like, old Windows versions and that. He was one of them. And I forget if he actually was or wasn't, but we'll just say he was. And he had a bunch of tech nerd friends who he played Minecraft with. And so he joins this group, and he kind of joins some other similar politically active groups. And he's deciding that, you know, maybe I'm with some fucking toxic people. They supported the wrong guy for president. They supported this and that I don't like. They posted a few edgy memes a few years ago, and I don't like these people anymore. And he was kind of in that sort of boat here. And he decides, I'm going to basically cut off bad people from my life. So it starts to sound a bit like a cult here, because that's what cults do to get you in, is they want you to cut off anybody who's telling you this might not be a good idea. They pretty much program you into thinking that these people are, they're going to kill you, or they're going to lead you away from the whole leader of their religion and the deity and all that. That's what they tell you in cults. Well, here, they basically tell you that you're around toxic people and you got to cut them out of their life. And they enforce it to you by they basically metaphorically hold a loaded gun to your head by saying, if you don't cut these people off, we'll cut you off. And that's pretty much, that happens so much that there's a fear of it, and so people will do it anyway. So you get these people who are like, I'm going to cut you off because you did this and that years ago. And this guy just goes around, he just starts burning bridges. He shuts down his Minecraft server, he burns bridges with every one of his toxic friends. And during this time, he's patting himself on the back like, man, I did good. I got these toxic people off my friends list. And in this server, a bunch of people are circle jerking themselves about how they're doing the same thing, where I'm getting toxic people off my friends list too. And I'm getting toxic people off my friends list too. And eventually it comes to a head. Like he's got people telling him, bruh, what the fuck are you doing? And so he keeps doing this to more and more people. And it gets to the point where he's got people saying, look, I know you're into this leftism thing. I know I've got similar political views to you, but you're just going around cutting every friend you have off, telling yourself that I'm getting better, that I'm getting better, I'm a better person, I'm cutting off these toxic people. Well, let's just say he left the server and deleted his Discord account not long after this. After he realized he had to take an internet break, after he realized he fucked up. So, this person became a proud member of this server, essentially. And that's the problem with a lot of these groups on Discord and these horrible friends, these enablers, and the people who especially want to brainwash you. That's the problem with these people. They really like to go up to you and pretend they've got your best interest in mind when they either don't care about you and end up enabling your bad behavior, or they want your money. And this happens too a bit. I forgot to mention, you get these people who are like, they just want to be friends with you for money and video games and stuff. And for maybe quick RPs as well. You see those people all the time on Steam and Discord and Telegram. But those aren't as bad as the other ones I'm talking about. You get those enablers, and then you get the people who want to groom you, brainwash you into believing, basically being good little citizens and supporters of whatever political belief it is this month, or whatever lifestyle choice it is. And they'll be the first ones to throw you under the bus when shit really gets bad in your life. Like I said, I don't know if I said this already, but I once pissed off somebody by telling them, go to trade school, when they were in, like, having trouble with college and all, and they got pissed off, like, I don't want to go to trade school. And that's the thing. That's the thing with these people. You can't exactly save them or do much of that, but you can, in fact, you can save yourself, if you get what I'm saying. You can get yourself away from people like that, or especially in the case of the enablers who don't mean any harm, you can at least just improve yourself without having to wait for somebody to tell you to improve yourself. Because that's the thing, is people shouldn't have to tell you to do this and that, and you can't rely on everybody to tell you to do this and that. You have to realize it yourself, that you need to pull yourself out of this situation. Because once it hits you, it hits it a lot harder than it does if say you have to, it's one thing for somebody to tell you, hey dude, you're doing this, it's a bad idea to do this. And it's another thing when you realize the consequences of your own actions, then it hits you a lot differently, if you get what I'm saying. You realize what you've done, and then you actually have a motivation to get out of it. And that's the thing, is you're a lot more likely to do it once you realize that you're responsible for your own behavior. It's not your parents, it's not your friends, even though they enable it. And you're also sort of still somewhat responsible for hanging out with those people. And the second one is more important. It's that you can change at any time. You can get away from these people who are treating you like crap on the internet, and you can find new friends online instead of pigeonholing yourself into certain circles. So yeah, this is why I'm making this video. I want people watching this video to get better in life, and that's why I'm making it, because I really want to get the word out there to a lot of NEETs who are naive. And there are a lot of toxic people out there. There are. And especially the ones who drop black pills or fear porn all the time, especially to keep you scared. So yeah, that's all that needs to be said. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more.